Welcome to my channel. My name is Ushma and this is my sewing channel where I share my sewing journey, things that I've been working on, sew-alongs, that kind of thing. I am a self-taught sewist and I have been sewing for almost 2 years now. And I'm really enjoying making my own clothes and clothes for my family sometimes. So it's been a really fun couple of years learning a new skill that I have always wanted to learn and finally decided to do it. So 2 years later, and here we are. I usually share videos that are mostly sewing vlogs showing you what I'm currently working on. But today I wanted to do something a little bit different and share my summer sewing plans with you. It is the 1st of July and summer is in full swing. It is literally 5,000 degrees outside. I'm not even kidding. And it's supposed to be that way for the next few days, and then we're supposed to get a little bit of a cool down. So, looking forward to that. I am also in my third trimester, and so I am prioritizing comfort. I've literally been living in dresses that are flowy and comfortable. So, yeah, most of my plans for sewing are going to be bump friendly, just looser outfits. So, yeah, this is new for me because I'm usually not much of a planner. I usually just make things that inspire me, that I feel like making at the moment. I'm not someone who plans their summer outfit or fall outfit or things like that. If I see something and I feel like making it, I just go ahead and make it. So I haven't made a specific summer or sewing plans or fall sewing plans kind of video yet because normally I'm making a jacket in summer or, like a dress in winter. I'm still very much in the honeymoon phase, if you will, of sewing where I'm really enjoying it and I'm very much still learning the craft. So if I see something and I like it, I will just make it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But this time I'm in my third trimester during this peak summer. So I have had to focus on what I need and what I can actually wear. I've been making some flowy dresses and flowy tops. Not so much any bottoms like pants or shorts or skirts because I feel like those are kind of difficult to incorporate back into my wardrobe after I'm done being pregnant. Whereas dresses, tops that you can just throw on, I can still wear them after I'm done being pregnant. So my focus lately has been, like I said, dresses and oversized tops. And so for my sewing plans, I do have a couple of dresses. One of them I've already started and I just need to hem the bottom. And then I have 3 tops that I would like to make. And I have plans for a few non-clothing items that I will talk about. And I also recently stopped by at my local thrift store and I found some fabrics that will work for like baby clothes. So I'll show you what I picked up and what I have in mind. And then at the end, I do have one knitting project that I'm working on that I would like to share with you, but I'll talk about that in the end so you can skip if you're not interested in knitting. So yeah, here are some of the fabrics. First of all, I have this thrifted cotton fabric. This is a part of a duvet cover and these are 2 pillowcases. So I have more fabric if needed. I have been seeing a lot of baby doll style tops and dresses on Instagram a lot. I've seen a lot of people making like upcycled tops from men's shirt videos. Funny story about that. So my Instagram algorithm is currently full of upcycled men's button-up shirt and people are making this simple but romantic beautiful tops out of them and I thought I would love to give that a try. So a few months ago I stopped by at a thrift store and I was browsing through the men's shirt and I found a cotton shirt. It was a blue checked shirt similar to this pattern and I was so excited I brought it home and I tried it on and it didn't fit. So I thought I was looking in the large and extra large section, but it must have been misplaced or something. I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention to the size. It looked big enough, but it turned out to be like a small men's shirt. Or was it like a medium? Maybe it was a medium. And I couldn't button it all the way around my bumps. So it's sitting in my closet. Hopefully, once I get back to my normal size, I will revisit the upcycling idea. But with this one, that is kind of what I have in mind. So just a simple yoke and a gathered panel. I am planning to DIY this. I've seen a bunch of tutorials on Instagram and on YouTube, and it seems pretty simple. And this cotton is not super drapey, and it does have a bit of a structure body to it, and I kind of want that because I want the top to not be super drapey and hug my body. I want it to be a little bit structured and A-line. I might experiment with a thicker hem so that it adds a little bit of weight and structure. So we'll see. I'm very excited about this top. I'm just gonna set it down on the floor. Next, I have this fabric that I got from, oh, I forgot I had this in here. But I got this fabric from Joann way before it closed. It's a cotton eyelet fabric. I think it's also called like a broderie anglaise fabric or something. Last fall, I made a Cezanne inspired dress from this fabric, and I did make a video about it. I'll link it down below if you're interested to see how that turned out. So a white romantic blouse, very much on trend right now. Again, I don't have a pattern in mind for this. I might DIY this as well. So this fabric is made of a bunch of squares of eyelet fabric that are sewn together, and each of the square is a different pattern, so it gives a kind of a quilted, cottage core vibe. Initially, when I got this fabric, I loved it so much, but then when I brought it home, I just wasn't sure how to work with this large geometric shape. When I made the Cezanne inspired dress, what I did was I cut out the strips of fabric and then I paired it with some lace trim and this cotton voile fabric that I pleated. And this is like the extra piece that was left. So maybe I'll somehow incorporate that into this top that I'm planning to make. Maybe this could be like the hem or the yoke. So my plan was to make another simple, baby doll style top with this one as well. But instead of gathering, I wanted to experiment with knife pleats or box pleats. So I have some trim options. So this is basic lace trim that I have. And I also have a couple of other lace trims. So this one has, that was already open. So this one is more of a, so this one has more of a ladder trim in the center, and the scalloped edges. And then, are you open too? Yes. And then this one, it's similar to this one, but instead of the ladder trim in the center, it's got like a flower motif. So my plan is still to cut strips of fabric and pair it with some lace trim, experiment with some pleats. Yeah, so I do have a loose idea in my mind that I'm not articulating pretty well right now, but we'll see. We'll see what comes of this fabric. That's top number 2. And then I have these 3 fabrics that I recently got on Etsy. They are cotton voile, cotton voile. I'm not sure how to say that, but these are Indian block different cotton voile fabric that came from India. So my thought process when I bought these fabrics was I'm not very adventurous when it comes to prints and colors. I usually am more of a muted color, solid color kind of a person. But I have been wanting to experiment with colors and mixing and matching patterns. So I had this idea of mixing different prints for a dress. And so I went on Etsy and I found this fabric first. And I kind of fell in love with this print. I think this is a marigold flower motif, at least that's what it looks like to me. And immediately I was really drawn to this print. It just evokes such a nostalgic feeling for me because I grew up in Nepal, and if there was ever a flower that would encapsulate my childhood and early teenage years, it would be marigolds. Chilly fall mornings and gardens just bursting with marigolds, Dasai festival, marigold flowers or garlands everywhere, street vendors, people decorating their doors with the marigold gardens, just the smell of marigold, everything about marigolds I love. Anyway, that's what this print immediately made me think of. And I also love this really vibrant purple colors, and there's some super vibrant like peacock greens in here. There's some golds in here, so it was really, really lovely. And I wanted to pair this print with something that would complement some part of this print. And I saw this orange fabric in the same shop, and also this green print fabric. So I asked the seller if either of these two colors matches with any of the colors in this fabric so the prints would work together. And she was really nice. She sent me a picture of these two fabrics together and then these two fabrics together. And obviously, it's not the exact same orange, but it does work together. So initially, I was just going to buy these two fabrics, but I also love this so much, so I also got this one. So I've already made a dress out of these two fabrics. We'll grab that. So here's the dress. Like I said, I wanted to experiment with the prints, and I still need to finish the hem. But this is the bubble frock pattern by Lydia Naomi. When I was planning this dress, I had two patterns in mind. One was the bubble frock pattern that I ended up using, and the other one was a vintage um, butterick pattern, or it's one of those big four patterns. I ended up using this pattern because I wanted to have the straps and border in this orange color, and then kind of have this print go down the sides, and then I'll finish the hem with this fabric as well. So yeah, this just worked really well with the bubble frock pattern because the bust of this pattern is already in two pieces, so that worked out really well with what I had in mind. I did have to tweak the pattern a little bit to make it work on the back as well, but I am filming a video about the making of this dress, and whenever I publish that video, you can refer to that video to see how I made this dress. So like I mentioned, I was between two different patterns for this dress, and I ended up using the bubble frock pattern. So I have decided to use this fabric for the vintage pattern. So I will make the top version of that pattern with this fabric. It's got pleating, it has a button closure in the front, and it's got little flutter sleeves. So I think this fabric will work really nicely with that pattern. And it is a flared top, so I think it'll work with my bump. Oh, and this one is just a lining fabric that I used on the dress. The orange fabric as well as the marigold print fabrics are pretty see-through. So I used this lining fabric that I already had. I think it's polyester blend fabric, but it is pretty slippery and soft. So it worked really well for lining. And the last clothing item that I have in mind is another dress. And I have this cotton bed sheet. I still use the fitted sheet on our beds, but I never really use the flat sheet. So it's perfect for making dresses. This is such a beautiful color. It's like this olivey green with this flower print. It is a busy print, but the color isn't too loud. So I really love this print. The dress I have in mind is again something that I've been seeing a lot on Instagram, especially earlier this spring. It's the Daughters of India dress. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really floaty, gathered dress with, gathered billowy sleeves. And I would love to make that dress out of this fabric, but I'm not 100% sure because I'm only 5'2" and I have this huge bump. So I don't know. I feel like I will just be drowned by the sheer amount of fabric that dress needs just because it's got a lot of gathering and the billowy sleeve. But I do want it. It's so beautiful. And I thought, I have this bed sheet, I have plenty of fabric to work with, and I'm not buying anything new. I don't know. I really want to make it. And the other thing is, I think this dress would work better with a more lightweight fabric, but this fabric is a little bit of a thick cotton. I think it'll still drape beautifully, but I feel like something like the other dress that I just showed you with the cotton wool fabric would work better, but this is what I have. And I feel like this will be like an experimental dress, and I don't want to go and buy more fabric and then end up not even wearing the dress. So I think I will make it just to get it out of my system. And if it doesn't turn out and I can't pull it off, at least I won't have spent a whole lot of money. So yeah, those are my sewing plans for clothing items. 3 tops and 2 dresses, one of which is almost complete. So next, for non-clothing items, I wanted to make a ironing mat, and here are my supplies. So recently I got a large-ish table for this sewing room. I do have a table right over there where I do my sewing, and I have my sewing machine set up on there, and it's kind of hard to move around. So I got another table for mainly cutting and to have more storage space underneath. And I thought it would be really helpful to have a large ironing mat to go on top of that table. I do have a standard ironing board that does work for the most part, but when I do want to press like large pieces of fabric, like after I've pre-washed them or when I'm getting ready to cut a pattern, it's nice to have a larger surface area to be able to just press like larger sections at a time. And so I did look online to see if I can find something that I could just buy, but I didn't find anything. So I went on YouTube because I had no idea what it would take to make a heat resistant ironing mat. And I found this DIY tutorial by Pattern Scout. It was a super detailed video and she listed all the things I would need. So I went ahead and got pretty much everything. I'm still waiting on one of the fabrics, but these are just like illustration boards. They are pretty thick and they are 16 by 20 inches. I'm gonna need 2 of those. You could use a cardboard instead of buying this, but I'm not about to dive into my recycling bin to find a cardboard box. These are pre-cut and I just picked this up at Hobby Lobby. They were $5 or $6 a piece. So that will go on the inside. I will link her video down below because she goes into a lot more detail. But essentially those boards are like the innermost layer. And this is just a cotton fabric. She uses like a muslin fabric in her video, but I couldn't find it at the Hobby Lobby. So I'm just going to create like a little cover for those boards with this fabric. And then this is the reflective batting that goes on top. got this on Amazon. And then you need a couple of layers of cotton batting, but I think she uses a flannel fabric instead of that, and I'm going to do the same. I just need to look into my stash and find a large enough cotton flannel. And I know I have a bunch of those, so I decided to use those instead of buying more battings. And then this is cotton canvas fabric. I thought this print was super cute with the dogs. So this will be the outer layer. So when I close the mat, this cute print will be on the outside. And the other fabric that I'm waiting on is the cotton fabric. That is the topmost layer. And she used 1-inch grid fabric, which I thought was brilliant because it's really helpful to iron straight hems. So I was trying to find a cotton fabric with lines, but I couldn't find anything that wasn't super busy. So I just decided to order what she used. I got it on Etsy and it should be arriving in a few days. So once I have that, I will have all the pieces that I need to make this ironing mat. And I also want to make a couple of those ironing hams and sausages to iron like curved seams or sleeves and things like that. I just need to dive into my stash of scrap fabric. I'm pretty sure I have some scrap pieces of linen and cottons lying around that I can piece together to make the ham and sausage. And I also have a bunch of scrap fabrics that I can just cut into smaller pieces to stuff them. So yeah, those are the three non-outfit items, like sewing essential items that I would like to make. And I think it'll be really helpful and make my life a little bit more easier. So next I have this pile of fabrics that I thrifted a couple days ago, and I am very excited to make some baby clothes out of these. So I had my doctor's appointment a couple days ago, and after I was done, I had about an hour before I had to go pick up my son at daycare. I didn't want to come home and then go back, so I decided to stop by at the thrift store, and I found these beautiful fabric. So this first one is actually a little apron and I just thought it was so cute and I picked it up for my son. He's showing a lot more interest in trying to help in the kitchen, and so I have been thinking of making an apron for him. My idea was to make like a matching one for myself and him, but this was just so cute, and the print on here, I think he will love it because he is really into construction trucks and monster trucks, and I think he will just love it. So I had to pick it up, and it was $2.42. Next is this little curtain. I think this is also a handmade piece that someone donated. It's a lovely cotton fabric and it's got this trim that is just sewn on top of this, so I can easily take this off if I wanted to. But I thought this was such a cute print, and I think there's enough fabric for like a matching top and a shorts for a little girl. And this was like $4. And then there's this swaddle cloth or a little blanket. It is 100% viscose from bamboo. I really liked the print. It's just a soft flowery print. I could use this as a swaddle cloth or just use it to make a little outfit of some kind, but it's such a beautiful fabric and nice print. And this was $1.98. And this is rib knit fabric, 100% cotton. And again, I just thought a cute top and shorts or maybe pants with some ruffles or lettuce hem, something like that. So pretty color, and it's got little flower prints on it, and this was $1.98 as well. And then these next two are just cotton fabric, may have been burp cloths, I don't know, but I just thought the prints were really cute. This one has little bears on it, and this one has hearts on it. I thought I could make some bibs or something with these, and I think they were $2 each. Yeah. And this last one is 70% viscose from bamboo and 30% cotton. So this is a swaddle blanket, but I really loved this deep mustard color. I just loved this color so much, and the fabric is just so soft and dreamy. This one actually, I got to make a top of some kind for myself. But I have a feeling that I will hang on to this for a little while longer because there isn't a whole lot of fabric and I want to make something that I can fit into. So yeah, beautiful fabric. This was also $2. And lastly, I have one knitting project that I have been working on for the last few months. I am very new at knitting. In fact, this is only the second item of clothing that I have knit for myself. I finished I think it's called Morning Dream sweater by Drops Design. I finished it earlier this spring and I actually haven't had the chance to wear it yet. And this is my second one. This is the Volia blouse by Teti Lutsak. And when I saw this blouse on her Instagram, I was like, I need to make that right now. I need to learn how to knit. But I was too scared to start this as my first project, so I started with the other sweater, the Morning Dreams. That one looked a lot more simpler than this one. And once I made that, I was like, what the hell, let me just give it a shot and we'll see how it turns out. But I am really liking how it's turning out. And everything about this blouse is pretty much new for me. So basically, with that other sweater, I just wanted to get used to working with circular needles and learning the magic loop technique. And that sweater is basically just stockinette stitch all the way. So it did help me a lot with this blouse, but this blouse has everything. It starts by knitting in the flat, and then once you have your yoke, you join it to knit in the round, and it's got wrap and turn short rows. It's got these picot edges, which are such a lovely detail. So this is on the neckline as well as the sleeve hem and the body hem. And it's also got a lace trim detail on the sleeve and the hem. And what else? Oh yeah, it has these lovely tassels that attach to the top of the neckline so you can tie it into a cute bow. And so I've learned a lot with this project already. I haven't even started the lace section yet. And I also learned to knit both the sleeves together at the same time, and I'm just feeling really proud of myself. But I did run out of yarn, so I had 5 balls of this Drops Air yarn in the colorway. It's mix number 2. It's called wheat color, I think. So I do crochet, so at some point I had bought this yarn for some crochet project, but I find that for clothing items, I do prefer a knit look. I have designed a couple of crochet, a sweater and a jacket, which you can find in my Etsy shop. But I do prefer a knit look for clothing items, and it's kind of hard to achieve with crochet. So I've always wanted to learn knitting, and I'm finally learning now, but that's a separate tangent. I was talking about the yarn. So I had 5 balls of this yarn, and I think it would have been enough had I made a short sleeve version. The pattern has short sleeve and like a 3/4 length sleeve option, but I've decided to make like a full sleeve version. I'm planning to wear this in the fall and winter time, and I prefer a long sleeve. So I decided to lengthen the sleeve just a little bit, and so I ran out of yarns. I was really worried because I have had this yarn for over a year now and I wasn't sure if it was still being sold. Luckily it was. So I did order a few more and it should be here in the next day or two. So I can continue and finish this so I can wear it this winter. And I am at a point where I can start the lace detail for the sleeve. And for the body, I still have a little ways to go before I can get started on the lace. So that's where I am really happy with it. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I thought it would be like a short, here's my sewing plans and here's what I've thrifted kind of video, but I feel like I've talked for a long time. I am starting to get kind of hungry. It's a little bit past lunchtime, so I'm gonna go eat something. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what your summer sewing plans are or what you're currently working on. I love to know and see what everybody else is working on, and hopefully I will get to all of the plans that I talked about because I do tend to get distracted a lot. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.